You are now coming from a more negative place due to this experience, and you need time to heal. So when you jump into a new relationship, you are carrying that baggage from the previous relationship into this new one with an innocent bystander. Hey, what's up everybody? This is Stephan aka Stephan Speaks, back with another dating and relationship advice video. Today we're talking about 3 reasons why rebound relationships don't work. As always, before we get started, be sure to like this video, share this video, hit that notification button, and leave your comments below. Do you think a rebound relationship can work? Now, for those of you who may not be aware of what a rebound relationship is, it's essentially when you adjust in a relationship, you break up, and then you jump into a new relationship, all right? And a lot of times you're jumping into that new relationship because you're trying to move past the previous relationship. You want to just get a distraction and all these different things. And so it becomes your rebound to bounce back from the heartbreak that you just experienced or the letdown you just experienced from your previous relationship. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say no one has ever had a successful rebound relationship. What I will say is that it is unlikely to be successful. It is in most cases going to be a problem, going to cause more damage. So essentially it is not going to work. So let me give you those 3 reasons why rebound relationships do not work. Reason number 1, you haven't had time to heal. Listen, you just had a relationship with an individual. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, hell, maybe it was just a few months. Either way, you were emotionally invested, all right? And now you've been hurt, let down, disappointed. Maybe you feel like you wasted so much time. Whatever it is, you are now coming from a more negative place due to this experience. And you need time to heal. So when you jump into a new relationship, you are carrying that baggage from the previous relationship into this new one with an innocent bystander, with an individual who may or may not be there to genuinely love you, but either way, you are going to now make it harder to find success because you haven't resolved the things that might trigger you. You haven't addressed the deeper issues that need to be addressed. You haven't possibly corrected the behavior that may have contributed to your last relationship failing. And if you don't do that, you're gonna see this one fail. Not to mention, I tell people all the time, when you do not heal, you are 99.9% likely to choose the wrong person. Now, granted, I've never run a scientific study to back up the 99.9%, but I have rarely, if ever, found someone who hasn't healed and were able to choose and embrace the right person. You might meet the right person, you might entertain it for a little bit, but you will have a very hard time staying in that relationship because when you haven't healed, it is very difficult to be vulnerable again. It's very difficult to fully emotionally invest at the level necessary for a successful, healthy relationship. So if you do meet the right person, it's gonna make you very uncomfortable, very overwhelmed, and quite frankly, scared as hell, all right? And you are likely to sabotage or run from that situation. So what is more likely to happen? You're gonna entertain the person you don't have those feelings for. You're gonna entertain the person who is good enough to be with, but doesn't cause you to be vulnerable. You're going to entertain the wrong person. Plain and simple. So from the start, you are set up for failure because you're dealing with someone who doesn't belong in your life, who you can't have a full, healthy relationship with. So it is always best to not rush into a new relationship, but to take time to heal. Now, people will ask me all the time, well, how long do I need to wait before I date again? Listen, it's not about time. It's about healing. It's about the work you put in. If you do the steps to healing and you accomplish that in a few months, and possibly even weeks, depending on what it is that needs to be resolved, it is possible, then you're ready to date again. However, if you drag your feet and you just distract yourself from your pain and you don't actually heal, then it could take you years. Hell, some people lifetime. Some people go to their grave without healing. So as always, if you watch previous videos and you know, I have my book, Love After Heartbreak. Check it out. I'll put the link in the description and the comment section. It will give you the steps to healing, all right? And you gotta do that, because if you don't expect a rebound relationship to work for you. The number 2 reason why rebound relationships don't work is because you're more than likely going to overlook the red flags. So again, we start with the fact that you haven't healed. And when you haven't healed, it also blinds you from other people's dysfunction. Hell, if anything, it makes you more comfortable with people's dysfunction, because in this other, I want to say weird way, but subconsciously, it helps you feel more comfortable about your dysfunction. All right. It is hard for someone who is broken, who is hurt, who still has trauma, to deal with and embrace a very healthy individual. All right. Because it shines a light on their shortcomings. So what we do, consciously or subconsciously, is entertain someone who's as broken as us, who's as dysfunctional as us, if not worse, because now we don't feel as bad. Now we don't feel like we gotta do anything about our issues because they got issues. And so we will find it easier to overlook their red flags and entertain the wrong individual. So again, with the healing, you're gonna be able to see things more clearly. With the healing, you're not gonna be able to tolerate someone else's dysfunction. And when I say not tolerate it, I don't mean look down on people. I don't mean just automatically dismiss them. I mean, you're not gonna entertain an unhealthy relationship with them. You're gonna be able to call it out, recognize it for what it is, and understand that if they're not willing to fix it or work on it, then you can't be with them. But when you have not healed, you won't see it that way. You will make excuses, you will rationalize, you will find all the reasons to entertain them because you just want someone there. You don't want to be alone, you don't want to dwell on the hurt, you don't want to think about your ex, you just want companionship. I can't even say love. You want love, but what you're getting in that situation is not love. What you're getting is attachment, all right? And you're now setting yourself up for bigger problems later, because in that attachment, in that investment of time, you are now going to have a harder time walking away. You're going to have a harder time accepting that you never belonged here. You may know it, but again, you will distract yourself from it. So it's extremely important that you heal and that you understand that you cannot overlook or make excuses for the red flags. It is important to address them, not just in them, but in you as well. So again, this is just another huge reason why rebound relationships will not work. And then the last reason why a rebound relationship won't work is because you're probably not truly over your ex. Now listen, you may not like that reality and you're trying so hard to forget your ex and not deal with that anymore. And sometimes it's not even that your ex was the right person for you. They could have been toxic, they could have been wrong for you, but because of all the time and energy you invested, you're still not over that situation. So when I say not over your ex, for a lot of you, it's really not over the relationship. It's not over the time you gave. You're not over the fact that you feel like you made a bad decision. So you haven't forgiven yourself for that relationship. But yes, in some situations, you may not be over the person you lost. They may have been a good person. It may have been the potentially right relationship, but you have been in a bad place. Hell, you may have gotten into that last relationship not healed, and then here you are again, entertaining someone else haven't healed. And so, as I mentioned earlier, this new person could be an innocent bystander. So you not only damage yourself more, you damage them. And now this is how the cycle of hurt people continue. Because we don't take time to stop and address the deeper issues within us first before we go spreading our hurt to other individuals. And we convince ourselves that we're not doing anything wrong, that we're not hurting people, but you are. You are. You're hurting them, you're hurting you. Hell, if you got kids, you may be hurting the kids. There's so much that goes wrong from this. So again, to get back to the original third point, you may not be completely over your ex. You need to make sure you've resolved that within yourself. The last thing you need is to get with this new individual, all right? And your ex comes crawling back, running back, whatever. And now because you haven't really addressed that within you, address whatever you feel for them or the fact that you even want to still be with them, you now find yourself in a situation where you're conflicted. You now find yourself in a situation where you may hurt the new person even more because you drop them and go back to their ex. I cannot tell you how many times that has happened. And I have to say this. It happens on both sides, men and women, but I'm gonna tell y'all straight up, I've seen or heard this story a bunch of times when it comes to women doing it. Women jumping to that new guy, ex comes back, and you go back to the raggedy old ex. And again, I'm not saying every ex is raggedy and every ex is wrong, but in a lot of cases, that is what's going on. And so now that new man is damaged. But again, it can happen on both sides. I'm not saying men have never done it to women. Either way, it's dysfunctional, it's unfortunate, it is wrong. And so for all these reasons, the rebound relationship is not gonna work. You don't need a rebound, you need to heal, all right? You don't need a rebound, you need to find yourself. You don't need a rebound, you need to find your purpose and create happiness within you. Stop worrying about having a relationship with someone else. Stop worrying about attaching yourself to another individual. Some of you need to learn how to be alone first. And when you do all these things and work on yourself, then you won't need to have a rebound relationship. You'll be able to receive a great, healthy, and successful relationship. So I pray this was helpful to you. Again, leave your comments below. Do you think a rebound relationship can work? Is there a reason that I didn't include that you think we should talk about as to why it won't work? Either way, leave your feedback below. Subscribe to this channel, like this video, share it, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.